Beautiful, peaceful Veronaville. Welcome back, dear friends. I'm Bibi, and I'm finally back with another Sims 2 lot renovation to show you. Today, we are finally moving to Veronaville, where we only have 3 inhabited family homes to renovate. However, they are so huge that I'm sure it'll take me a long time to finish them. Which is partially why this video took me so long to publish. I've just been so captivated by playing with my original characters and discussing storytelling and fresh gameplay concepts for The Sims 2. Honestly, the pre-mates were just not doing it for me for a moment there, but I'm back, and today we're going to be working right here in the Summerdream family home. This is a family I have actually never played with, but I'm still familiar with their story, and it's finally time I paid them a visit on my own. Their family bio says, "The Summerdream's kindly nature and zest for life have cast a romantic spell on Veronaville's youth, but will there be any magic left for Puck?" So they play a part in the romantic drama between Romeo and Juliet. There's definitely a supernatural element here, so let's hop in and see what they're up to. Immediately as we enter the household, we're greeted by what seems to be a party scene. This is definitely the party house of Veronaville, I can tell. And I'm looking through the wands and fears to lock whatever I deem important, but oh my goodness. This house is... what is... the main entrance is on the side? Okay. For some reason, there's something very odd happening with the neighborhood terrain color around the house. Like, what even is this? I checked in hood view and there's technically nothing there, but obviously it's not just grass, it kind of looks like sand. As you can see, the backyard is essentially a theater. We've got seating spaces, food and drink, a jacuzzi, but it's all just, I'm sorry, it's kind of ugly. These colors are all over the place, and Juliet Cap is here because of course she is. The front of the house, that's facing the road, is just so bland and boring. There's literally nothing there, absolutely no landscaping whatsoever. It's obvious that the focal point of this place is actually the theater in the back, but if this is a stage where they perform, why do they have like a pinball machines or whatever these are? Then the interior, oh my goodness, the grapevine flooring flowing into a bright red kitchen and an oddly placed trash can. That's a very interesting placement. All of this basically empty space. I mean, it has nothing but sitting areas here on the first floor. There's really nothing going on, and obviously red and green is the theme here, the layout as well. Like on the second floor we have a blue and purple room next to a pink room, and they share a yellow bathroom, and they're connected by the grapevine situation. I mean, this is a migraine-inducing color combo if I've ever seen one. Maxis really said we're using the whole rainbow in here, okay? Listen, I love bright and eclectic, but oh, the bright red bedroom. Good luck trying to relax with such an intense color. Well, okay, 2 tiny balconies for no reason too. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Clearly we have a lot of work on our hands. And I'll try to preserve the more quirky look of the house, the theater in the back as well, but there's tons of work to be done here. I think that this is one of those builds where I can see how everything can be changed. Everything here is a little bit too much for me, and since I'm renovating these lots according to my needs, I have to want to play in them, so there's no beating around the bush. I have to get to work. This build took several days, many hours of work. Let me know what you do with the Summerdream family in your own game, but for now, let's get started. Okay, first things first, I'm placing my road overlays, and as always, I'm starting my renovation by clearing out the lot, selling everything I don't need. Number 1 on my agenda for this house was to move the main entrance to the front. There's a lot of work here that goes into the backyard and the different sections of the premises of the Summerdream estate, but I wanted the very flat and boring side of the house that's facing the road to become more interesting and usable, really. Otherwise, I'll never pay attention to this side of the house, and it's also not really convenient to have an entrance that far away or off to the side, at least in The Sims 2 I feel like it. So placing it in the center for easy access was the way to go, at least for my gameplay needs. Since I get questions about this all the time, even though I've already mentioned it, no, these lots are not for upload. I get really anxious when I talk about this because I feel like I'm just disappointing people, but I started this project for my personal gameplay, and there's simply too much custom content that I'll never be able to properly sort or package. I'm really busy in my personal life. I have a really demanding job, a household to maintain, so I rarely get any free time for my hobbies. So I'd rather dedicate all of the very limited free time that I get for creating creating new videos. I know that this is going to disappoint a lot of people. I hope you try to see things from my perspective, however. I'm not trying to gatekeep content. If you want to replicate these builds in your own game, feel free to do so. Or if you want to know where you can find a piece of custom content you see me use, leave me a comment with a timestamp and I'll try to find a working link for you. But at the end of the day, I'm just a girl and I need silly little time to play my silly little game and relax and do things like that. Especially right now, because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit nasally because I'm kind of sick. So it's a bit too much. It's a bit too much at the moment for me. Anyhow, back to the build at hand. I had a vague idea of what I wanted to do with this entrance area, but I definitely went back and forth for so long until I settled on a color scheme. I started out very dark, but I just wasn't feeling it. The brown and the brick, it just wasn't giving the energy that this household is giving to me. So then I went in the completely opposite direction with white, ochre, and orange, very sunny and bright colors. So I went a bit crazy, okay? Please bear with me. I thought this is a more light and bright kind of house, okay? Right? And I was feeling the yellowish tones of the entrance. So I replaced all of the exterior wall paint with the same exact style, but with the light wood slats. I was conflicted about this because of course the house matches the rest of the neighborhood. I don't want to be uglifying my hood, but it was just so perfect like this in the end. It looked so cute. I changed some of the weird angular walls in the back as well because they were just making the layout unnecessarily difficult to decorate and play with. For the theater, I kept the layout pretty much the same. What I changed though was that I added a fountain in the central area instead of the jacuzzi. I actually don't remember if I sold or kept the hot tub. I guess we'll find out a little bit later. But I wanted a prettier sort of plaza in here, and it took me a while to decide exactly how I want the theater to look like. I still wanted this sort of grand stage kind of look. I added more white and gold everywhere, recolored the tall columns that were framing the entrance. I removed the weird game machines and placed some planters instead. This is something that just makes a little bit more sense for the stage. I also played around a bit with the flooring there. I created this sort of diamond mosaic on the floor with a few different floor tiles, and this motif repeats in a few more spots in the house. I mean, mostly in the exterior. For the fountain, no, it's not a swimmable pool, it's just decorative. I finally used these trims. These are from Buggy Boos, I believe was the name of the creator. I'm sorry if I messed it up. The creator of the Nooks and Niches pack. It's a very old set of custom content, but it's so iconic and I'm sure you've all seen it. And I'm not sure if I left the red tile as the final look, but I felt like the white everywhere was just getting a little bit too neutral and just pure white, and this family seems like it's a little bit quirky and loves its bright colors, so who am I to say no to what they enjoy? I also added a pond in the backyard. They have such a huge yard and there really wasn't that much going on, so I was like, I need to fill this space with something useful. I imagine they chose to live here because they're closer to nature, to the forest, and all the animals and supernatural creatures that live there. If you're wondering why my pond looks so pretty and reflective and gorgeous, or why I'm placing random pool tiles around it, I have a mod that makes ponds reflective and more realistic looking like this. It's definitely one of the more graphically intense mods, so I wouldn't recommend it if your game stutters on big lots. My game runs smoothly, but I just get pink flashing because I have too much custom content, and it's just a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And yes, I know you were on the edge of your seat waiting to find out, but I can confirm pink flashing will make an appearance in this episode. Stay tuned to see it because oh, it was glorious. And oh, speaking of episode, I just recorded gameplay for my Let's Play series with the pre-made families. Yes, I know, it's been like a month since my last one, but my goodness. These last 2 months have it's been really intense for me. I don't want to get too personal, but at work I had to cover for 2 people, train a new person, and do my own tasks at the same time for a few weeks there. It was just too insane for me to handle. So with the very limited time I had to do anything other than work in my waking hours, I just prioritized working on concepts that I'm feeling more passionate about. Right now, I'm obsessed with our Legacy Challenge series, and that's my top priority for the channel. But as you can see, I'm back to the pre-mates again, so you can definitely look forward to more lot renovations. The last episode of Pleasant View in this rotation is coming out soon after this video, and we'll be moving to Strangetown gameplay next. Oof, I'm excited for that one. By the time we're done with all the families in Strangetown, I should be done with the Cap and Monty homes renovations in Veronaville, so the idea is to just time it perfectly and play our families in their new homes. And of course, there's in between Legacy Challenge episodes, lore deep dives that I've been working on, other speed builds. Yes, there's a lot of work to be done. All I just need is time. And then we are finally moving inside. We are finally starting to work on the interior of this place. And there's a lot to be done here. So the first thing I knew I wanted to change was the staircase situation in the front entrance. I just didn't like what Maxis did there. I tried using the grand staircases from Mansion and Garden expansion pack, but they just weren't looking good. Then I tried using the same CC staircase that I used in the back in the theater to recreate a similar look. But for some reason, there's a gap when you place the two mirroring staircases like this. I don't know what it is. I guess this is just the way the object is made. So naturally, I got tired of dealing with this, recolored and reshaped some rooms, saved, quit the game, and forgot about this house for a few days, as one does when you're doing these really huge lot renovations. When I loaded back into the house, I took one look at this picture and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with the entrance area. I just put the two staircases on the side, created a long hallway on the second floor, and left this open area from the second floor landing down to the first floor. So you can sort of stand up there and you have these high ceilings, and I don't remember if I placed paintings there or something decorative. I think I tried it out, but then I was like, it's not really looking great. But I just love how the entrance turned out. It's very minimal. There's not much going on. I love the white walls and there's still color. We have green staircases, blue, orange, and yellow in the ceramic floor tiles. And I also kept the seating, the plants, and the side tables because why not? Those are expensive objects and I rarely use them, and I thought it's fine to leave them there. After finishing this, I moved to work in the kitchen, and this was difficult. It was difficult in the beginning. The kitchen was very red, and I tried to honor that, but it was just really hard to find counters that look good in there. For some reason, I just wasn't feeling most of the recolors. I wanted to use island counters as well, but they just refused. They just refused to connect to the stove and make a corner piece. It was messy, and it annoyed me, and I ended up using just normal counters and a half wall there for separation. The walls are red as well. We'll have to live with it. The Summerdreams just love red and green. What can I tell you? I actually don't remember how I dressed Oberon and Titania, but now that I'm looking at this, perhaps I should give them outfits that match the colors of the house. The vibe of the kitchen is pretty similar to what it originally looked like, but just upgraded with newer objects. Lots of custom content, of course, to make it look fresh. But I've been incorporating more Maxis objects as well, you know, things from the base game and the DLCs. I kind of don't want to use CC as a crutch. Yes, lots of the original Sims 2 objects look pixelated and maybe the designs are a bit dated, but since the early 2000s fashion and lifestyle are trendy these days, the look of the game is exactly the kind of vibe we all need at the moment. Maybe it's a hot take, but I believe that The Sims 2 has aged better than The Sims 3. I guess I'm biased because I've always been a Sims 2 player. I grew up with this game. This is my bestie and I can never betray her. She's stunning, she's gorgeous, and she is that girl. The kitchen is cute even though it's a bright red. I've actually seen a lot of people in real life who go for a modern style kitchen buy red and black counters. Fun fact, I used to work in a real estate agency for 3 years. I was managing some of the websites and I've seen so many properties. It's quite interesting, but I suppose it might be local tastes. I don't know if that's a thing in other parts of the world where people just love a red kitchen if they're trying to go for a modern look. But I had a lot of fun building this kitchen. There are a lot of tiny details in here. If you squint, you'll miss them. I love the table centerpiece situation too. It's not much, but I'm trying to find the right balance between placing too many objects and none at all. Most people's houses in real life, they're messy a little bit, right? We all have our trinkets, our prized possessions just being placed wherever we find it most convenient for us. But I'm also making these lots, not for realism or anything like that, but to be playable. So they have to look good, but they also need to have enough functional space for Sims to move around, and they have to be properly optimized to load and work well, run smoothly with no issues. And when you have a large house like this one, you don't really know how to fill the space every time. I tried to always go for functional objects, but I didn't feel like placing a bar in here, for example. I went for this sort of modern looking cabinet, which I filled with a few decorative objects instead. And I also sectioned part of the kitchen and added a small powder room on this side of the house because it's always useful to have more bathrooms, otherwise your Sims will just have to walk all the way across the entire place to go to the pooper when they need to. And of course I added my favorite functional Sim portraits with Titania and Oberon sharing a romantic kiss. So cute, yes. You guys always ask me where to find these go and check out my Pinterest profile. I have all the functional picture frames saved there alongside a whole bunch of other objects. I actually have a couple of spooky themed boards to share. I know it's the end of October, but seasons change faster in The Sims 2, and you can make it be fall forever in your neighborhoods, which sounds so beautiful, doesn't it? I love fall. I don't know about you guys, but it's definitely my favorite season. It's so beautiful, the sunsets are gorgeous, nature is getting ready for deep slumber, and all of their leaves are changing colors. It's also cooler, and best of all, the mosquitoes finally perish. I live in mosquito land, let's be real. This is the worst town ever in the summer. It's literally impossible to leave your house and go for a walk without spraying your entire body with repellent. Otherwise, the swarms of mosquitoes come and devour you whole. True story, trust me. But yeah, fall, it's awesome, it's inspiring, it's peaceful. My heart feels so happy. Springtime as well, it feels so energizing and refreshing after long winters. Let me know which season is your favorite in the comments. And oh, tell me which hemisphere you're in. I'm in Europe, so we're in fall now, but maybe you're from the land down under and you guys are experiencing spring now. I know I have a lot of viewers from South America. Shout out to all of you South Americans out there. Thank you for being here. We're all so far apart geographically, but we're all here right now, and I think that's just so... I don't know, it puts a smile on my face right now, and really that's all I need at the moment. As for the build, we're currently in the living room. This is where the original front door used to be, and this whole room was nothing more than just a large entrance. I turned this into a functional living room, mostly dark red wood and green. I'm just using this house as an opportunity to build in a way that otherwise I'd rarely use for my own families, I suppose. This room has plenty of objects for activities as well. We have a bookcase, a sitting area with a TV, a chess table. In the corner, I also set up this sort of mini bar situation. It's a table with some deco objects and this functional cocktail serving tray, which I love so much. I was thinking of adding the champagne bottle as well, but Sims are so obsessed with toasting and carrying that thing around. I knew that they annoyed me with it, so I dropped the idea. There's even a small bathroom here on the side. It's not just a toilet, it has a shower as well. This house would be perfect for a much larger family as well. There's plenty of space for mini Sims to live under the same roof comfortably here. But after wrapping up the interiors downstairs, I honestly struggled a little bit with my concept and ideas for what to do on the second floor. I started with the main bedroom. I saw some people calling this Titania's room online. I don't know if or where it's insinuated that her and Oberon sleep separately, but yeah, I tried to respect the original red theme. I just wasn't feeling it. It just wasn't giving Queen of the Fairies to me. So I used a few placeholder objects for ideas of what I want to do later and just moved on to the other rooms instead. Now I love this little kids room here. I call this the green room, but it's not just green. It's actually mostly white as a base, but it's so cute and colorful. It's a pretty small space, but I think I made it work. Usually I'd place a computer desk for my kids and teens, but I actually used a vanity here. I rarely use these objects or their functionality. However, I placed one here because why not? Why not have something like that? The bed is from the Seasons expansion pack if I remember correctly. It is in this faded mint green color with these swirly details. It's so pretty. Seasons has always been my favorite expansion pack for The Sims. It just feels so unnatural to have a game with no weather whatsoever, and I always find it to be an absolute must for immersion in my game. Back in the day when I was a kid, this is gonna be embarrassing, but story time, when I was a kid, I didn't know how to install multiple expansions. No, I did not. I was too little, I couldn't understand how to do it. I didn't really understand English well enough to know how to troubleshoot things, so I only ran the game with one expansion pack at a time, and I had Seasons, Pets, Bon Voyage, and Apartment Life. And I'd have separate hoods for each expansion pack, and whenever I wanted to play with it, I just installed the one I want, and it was just... I missed out on a lot, I suppose, a lot of content, but we didn't have internet at home, and I couldn't research it. Then I figured it out eventually. I grew up, I got all the expansions, EA dropped the free Ultimate Collection for all of us at one point, until they decided that they don't want to deal with the game anymore and completely abandoned it. Thank you so much. And I don't know, some people are saying we want The Sims 2 officially for sale again. Others are saying, no, EA will ruin it. Personally, I think in its current state in 2024, moving into 2025, The Sims 2 is in a really good state. It's in a really good condition. It's managed by the community. We have awesome modders that are doing fantastic things to keep the game fresh. They keep the game alive and functional for every new Windows update that breaks the game for no reason. And earlier this year, when I got my new laptop, my first proper gaming device, I had to install The Sims 2, and it was easier than it had ever been in the past. The OSAP installer is a blessing. I feel so grateful for it, and the player base is still so active and passionate. I know there are other live sim games on the horizon. Personally, I'm really looking forward to Paralives. I can't wait for that to come out. But I don't think that The Sims 2 is going to go anywhere anytime soon. It's one of these games that are simply timeless. And I'm 100% certain that people will just keep playing it until it genuinely can no longer run on any device in any way. I mean, I've seen people play this game on their smartphones. Back in the day, you needed a powerful PC to play The Sims 2, but now a decent Android phone can just run it? Technology is moving crazy fast. So yeah, I definitely feel like The Sims 2 will live on for a very, very long time. Take a look at something like Skyrim, for instance. I love Skyrim. I'm a huge fan. I'm obsessed with it. It's almost 15 years old now, but people are still playing it, and I watch YouTube lore and gameplay about the Elder Scroll games, and they always get hundreds of thousands of views. So a game being old doesn't matter too much, as long as it's moddable and, you know, the gameplay is good enough and captivating enough to keep people coming back for more. And I've been playing The Sims 2 for 20 years now, since I was a little kid, and now I'm a grown person, and here we are still playing The Sims 2. Fun fact, I was looking at my channel demographics the other day, and most of my viewers are also women between the ages of 25 and 35, which is the age group I'm in as well. So there's a whole generation of us girls and now women who were raised with this game, and it holds a special place in our hearts, even in our lives. It means a different thing for each of us. We all have our unique Sims 2 experiences and stories to tell, and I'm just happy to be sharing my stories with others who are willing to listen and share their own thoughts with me. Well, okay, I went on rambling for a while, didn't I? Sorry for getting a bit carried away, but this is a 30-minute speed build. I like getting a bit chatty with you guys. It gives us things to discuss after the video is over in the comments. I don't want these long videos to just be me pointing out obvious things happening on the screen. I often think of the videos I narrate as sort of podcast-style episodes about everything The Sims, and maybe a sprinkle of life too. Something relaxing, something you can even passively listen to while doing household chores, or maybe while you play The Sims alongside me. That would be great. Let's play together. The last room I had to furnish was the main bedroom, and I just couldn't make the red work. It just doesn't work for me here for some reason. It made sense in Don Lotaria's Love Shack, but not here. So the main bedroom is very bright. I think it's looking so cozy and magical. All the pale colors and light pastels, gentle on the eyes. The bed looks like the fluffiest, most comfortable thing in the world. I just want to sink into it. I use this stunning custom content mirror. I don't even know where I got this from, to be honest, but I had never used it before and it looked so perfect in here. I combined it with this dining table to create a sort of vanity situation for Titania. Another thing I used here, which I really like, are the carnival masks, which I placed. They're Maxis objects you'd rarely find a suitable house for, but this is the perfect family for them, and not gonna lie, I have seen the movie Eyes Wide Shut as a kid, and it traumatized me, and now masks like this creep me out. But the Summerdreams are all about drama and theater, so it just makes sense here. So I did that in the interior, and I believe that was all of the work I had to do inside of the house, and then we moved on to the garden. Oh my gosh, we have so much to do in the garden. There are essentially 3 sections here: the theater area in the back of the house, the wedding set, and the pond in the woods. So I had to be very strategic with what I did here. In the beginning, I considered giving the family a car, but for some reason the driveway just refused to snap to the road. Like, what was going on here? I don't know. I could have used move objects, but a car was still kind of an afterthought for me. I don't find it that important for my Sims. I'm European, you guys. I like walking everywhere, and I mean, Veronaville is kind of European coded as well, so it makes sense that a car is not a priority here. So the car idea was dumped, and I fenced off that area because I didn't want random neighbors or pets wandering into our property unannounced. It's a huge lot. Anyone can just sneak in and walk through the back door or something, and I wasn't feeling that. So I fenced it off, and I had this vision about the wedding set, and I had all these arches. I believe these are also conversions from The Sims 4, and they were exactly the kind of thing I needed here. I also realized none of this was properly aligned with the staircase. Like, hello, why is everything so crooked? Maxis, what are you doing to me? And I had to move everything several times until it lined up perfectly. And I also overlapped the arches on the side. They're very chunky. That's kind of characteristic for Sims 4 conversions, I think. I completely understand why some players don't enjoy conversions at all and prefer an entirely Maxis matchy look for the game. I'm somewhere in between. I like a semi-realistic look, still cartoony but more high resolution than absolute Maxis match. The actual wedding arch is tucked in there, but you can still interact with it. We'll do that whenever we play with this family, but that's probably far into the future. I definitely wish I could progress much faster than I do. I know I'm like taking my sweet time with these videos, but they're really long and they take so much work. And as I said earlier, I'm so busy that I usually only play the game once a week these days. I know, it sounds crazy. I'd definitely play more if I could, but I don't have the time. So whenever I have those 3 to 4 hours to play in peace, I have to really use them wisely. Lot renovations can take several days. Writing scripts and editing also takes a really long time as well for me. YouTube is a serious hustle, okay? I could start publishing completely unedited, no commentary gameplay. That would be the easiest thing in the world, but it's just not the kind of content I'm going for, you know? And oh yes, I saw pink soup at this point. I saw this glowing fountain. This was during build session number 2, and I just thought, okay, well, this is my sign to quit. But I was stubborn and I persisted. I kept playing. I moved on to the pond area. I had to consider how I'll do terraforming here, the paths that our Sims will take as they move around the backyard, and I also wanted to give them a reason to come here, other than just, you know, pretty outdoor deco. So I used this tea table. This one is from Bon Voyage. Once again, an object you don't see too often. And then while I was terraforming and doing some terrain paint, I witnessed, for the first time ever, pink soup terrain paint. Just look at this glorious rectangle. So the fountain was the warning sign, but this was the threat. And I said, okay, I see you Sims 2, I respect your need to take a break. So I saved and quit, and then I came back for build session number 3. This was the last time I worked on the house, and yay, we have functional terrain paint. Now, I really hate whatever is happening with the neighborhood terrain color. It looks like there's sand there. As I said, I checked. There are no hood deco objects, no nothing. I moved the lot. I messed around with the terrain. It just simply looks weird, and I have no clue why. So we'll have to live with it for now until I find a solution. The pond is so cute, and then I added a hammock for like the billionth time I'm saying this, but I rarely give my families the hammock, and just having this out there will give my Sims a reason to actually walk around the lake, enjoy the outdoors, come over here, take a nap, read a book, have a woohoo in the wild, you know, that sort of thing. As I said, the pond is super cute as well. I really like it. There's so much vegetation, lily pads, rocks and pebbles on the shore. The hammock is positioned under these tiny maple trees, and it's surrounded by red flowers and bushes. There's also a mysterious tombstone under the tree in the corner of the lot. It doesn't look traditional. This side of the pond, I think of this as the entry point to the forest. The Summerdreams live on the edge of the forest, and whenever they want to interact with the wisps and spirits of the woods, they come to this area and then venture further into the tree line. We're almost there. We're working on some finishing touches, wrapping things up. The theater has these 3 podiums facing it, and initially they were just random. They had random objects, you know, party stuff, which is okay for gameplay, but it was just terrible for looks. And honestly, I know that the Sims won't use half of them anyways, so I placed some benches on these platforms instead for the Sims who visit to watch the performances. We have places to lounge, and I left the buffet table. I just recolored it and later placed tables and chairs there, so there's still an incentive for Sims to go there and have a meal, hang out, dance, party. Don't fall in the pool, please. For the last few bits, I went back to the front entrance of the house and just settled for a bit of terrain paint as a path to the front door. I also added more vegetation, crawling ivy, bushes and sunflowers. Lastly, I placed some roof details just there on the front section, and I believe this is it. This is the finished Summerdream family home. enjoyed this lot renovation. I'm a little bit sick, so my voice is a bit down. I hope it was fine for you. Thank you for being patient with me as I navigate this whole YouTube thing as a fairly new creator. I'm learning along the way and I'm trying to appreciate every step of this journey as much as possible. I'm glad to have you all here with me. Please share your thoughts on this build and really anything else you'd like to talk about in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay tuned for more deep dives into lore, more gameplay, and speed builds coming soon. So subscribe if you want to watch more Sims 2 content like this, and I'll see you really soon with another video. Take care and bye for now.